What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the OBR Prospect Spotlight here on the OBR Streaming Network. I'm your host, Jacob. You can find me on X at Roachism13. You can find me on Blue Sky. I think it's Jacob.Roach, but who really knows? But just search my name. I'll probably show up there somewhere. Thank you guys so much for all the love that you gave the mock draft last week. Over 1,000 views here on the YouTube. And if you're here checking us out on YouTube, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. This week, I wanted to talk about some under the radar prospects for the Browns. I wrote a couple articles, one about a week or so ago, one that released yesterday on theobr.com, talking about some of the Senior Bowl invites that I think the Browns should be in on. I want to talk about three of those guys, two on offense, one on defense. These are guys that are widely across most draft boards outside of the top 100 or are somewhere around the top 100. But I think they've got some traits and some interesting tools that could make them really good NFL players. And I think they're at positions the Browns could look to add. So I wanted to talk about those guys today. So the first one up, I want to talk about William and Mary left tackle Charles Grant. You're talking about a dude that's gone to a very small school. It's not a Division I school. I understand those sorts of things, but this is a 3-year starter at left tackle. He's a little bit leaner for a tackle. He's 6'4", 300 pounds even. He's got good overall length, but his arm length's a little bit short. There's a lot of people that kind of think he will move inside to guard, which I think is totally fine if you decide to do that. In his last 3 years, he's a 3-year full-time starter at William and Mary, 3 sacks total in 3 years. 2 of them have been this year, but 3 years. In 3 years, he let up 3 sacks. This year, he's got an 87.4 pass block grade and 89.9 run block grade. That's where he's going to make his money, is as a run blocker. This is a physical, mean, mauling kind of player, which is why you kind of look at him and you say, hey, if this guy moves into left guard or something like that, he's got the guard mentality. He's got a Wyatt Teller mentality. And he's got the power and the pop to kind of back those things up. I think he moves well. I think he's an above average athlete. And you've seen with the Browns at their best with their run game, it's pulling Wyatt Teller, it's pulling Joel Bitonio, getting their big, powerful run blocking guards out in space. And like I said, I lean towards Charles Grant playing guard, but he can be one of those guys that maybe is a guard that kicks out to tackle if you've got an injury, or he's that kind of guy that maybe you cross-train him and he is your swing offensive lineman and the first guy to come in, whether it's at guard or tackle. I think he's got the skill set to kind of do those things. He's got the frame to add more size and power, and I think he's a good run blocker. He's above average, elite, borderline elite run blocker. If this guy adds like 15 to 20 pounds of muscle and power, oh my goodness, the way he could move guys. He already moves guys. And I understand you're going to say, hey, it's William and Mary. It's not Division I. Well, when I see these prospects, I want these guys to be dominating that lesser competition, and Charles Grant does it. You're not going to bull rush and get through him. You're going to have to try to go around him, and he's a really good athlete, so half the time that doesn't work. I think he could use some. If he locks onto a defender, like if he will not let them get off of him. Like if he engages, he gets your hands on you, it's over. He's going to take control of that rep. I think his pad level at 6'4", sometimes he stands straight up, and like, when you're a guy with shorter arms, you can't have bad pad level too, because in that your leverage game, you're losing on multiple fronts. So you got to kind of work on him with some of the leverage and pad level stuff. I think is where they really need to work on with him. I think has a ton of experience. I think can really mold himself. You probably don't want to draft Charles Grant to start for you right away, but he could be the heir apparent to Joel Bitonio. He may have to start right away if Joel retires and they draft him to be the left guard. I'm not sure, but I think he's got some really nice tools, ton of football experience. With the athleticism and the power and the good length, not arm length, but the 6'4", if he can build up a little bit more size and use some of those physical tools, I think he's a guy somewhere in the 4th round or something like that you could really draft and mold into a really good offensive lineman in the NFL. Moving on to my next guy, RJ Harvey, the running back from Central Florida from UCF. He's one of every year when you talk to draft analysts and they get a group of my guys, and they're a list of my guys that they're much higher on because they just watch the film and they love this guy. RJ Harvey is one of my guys in this class. All time, I think he just broke the all-time leading scoring record at UCF, I think, with touchdowns this week, but 1,578 yards this year, 6.8 yards per carry, 22 touchdowns, a 90.4 rushing grade, and 68 missed tackles force, which is 13th in the nation. You're talking about a guy that he's not a 4-4 guy, like a 4-3 guy like Jahmyr Gibbs, and is really going to just absolutely, run away from everybody. But he is a 4-4 guy. I think he'll be in the low 4-4s. So he's got great top speed, not elite, but he is so explosive. He is going to get to that top speed in the blink of an eye. Like that is his calling card. If there is a hole, he's going to see it. He's going to explode through it, get to his top speed, and he can outrun a lot of linebackers. Some of those running, defensive backs and stuff can chase him down because he doesn't have that 4-3 speed, but he has a good speed. He's patient, has really quick feet. Like I said, that really helps with the explosion through the running lane. And sometimes he's a little too patient, kind of takes too long to decide where he's going to go and get moving and get up to speed, and that can result in some 2-yard gains or losses that could have been 6 or 7 because he was trying to find a lane for 10 to 15. But that's something you can work on. 5'9", 200 pounds, so a little bit undersized, really stocky build. I have some issues with him in some of the short yardage situations, some of the power situations because of that stature, but don't think that means you can take him down with arm tackles, because he will, if you try to lazily and don't form tackle him and wrap him up and do what you're supposed to do as the defender, he will run through you. He is a little bit of a bowling ball. I don't like him on goal line necessarily all the time consistently, but he can run with power, and that comes from the explosive, powerful lower half that he has. So, don't underestimate him in that sense. He moves so well laterally, changing directions, going, putting his foot in the ground. I love his jump cut. Like, if you guys loved that little run we had with Dearness Johnson, where Dearness Johnson would stop, jump, take off, I think RJ Harvey can do that even better than Dearness could. And that is where he's going to make his money at the next level, because he's, like I said, he's patient, has good vision. He can stop, hop. I've seen him do a couple, like 2 or 3 jump cuts in a row and then take off for 10, 15 yards and things of that nature. So he's just really fun, has that explosive playmaking ability, and has a calling card move, if you will. And he's just a guy that, like, I've seen a lot of boards having him in like the 120s, 130s, and things like that. I kind of get it in a sense that this running back class is absolutely juiced out of its mind at this point, but he in RJ Harvey's a great example of that. People have him like RB10, RB11, things like that. And I think he is kind of a guy. I think he's a guy that needs to be a 1B. Like, I don't know that he at the next level is a 25 to 30 carry kind of guy that consistently can be the workhorse. But if you've got him in the 12 to 15 carry range with somebody else getting like 12 to 15 carries, I think RJ Harvey can be an incredible change of pace guy with a lot of explosive, big playmaking potential. All right, on to our third and final prospect for this week's episode. I want to talk about Upton Stout, the corner for Western Kentucky. I think he brings a really intriguing skill set in the sense he's another guy that's 5'9", 180, so he's very small for the position. You would like to see a little bit more size, and because you kind of worry about maybe some durability issues at the next level because of that lack of size. But his first, I think 4 years, he's a redshirt junior, has been at Western Kentucky for a while. His first 4 years, he was an outside corner. This year, they moved him into the slot, and he just really took it to another level. I think he's played well. Some people think because of that size, and he doesn't have elite straight line speed, some people think maybe he plays safety at the next level. I really like him as a box safety or a slot corner. 76.5 coverage grade this year, 90.2 run defense grade. That's where I wanted to get with him. You're looking at 5'9", less than 200 pounds, and you're just going to be like, oh man, why would you put him in the slot? He can't hold up. Ooh, Upton Stout is at his best playing press man coverage and being physical. Like, putting him in the box as a box safety to play the run, get physical, and cover tight ends, even despite that size. Now, he's going to be at a disadvantage because of that size. And that's why he's going to be outside of the top 100. But if you're looking for a physical dude that wants to just hit and play in the box, and it, I think has good lateral agility and good short area explosion and quickness, he's probably going to be like a 4 or 5 guy, so he's not going to blow you away, wow you with his straight line speed, but he's got the short area quickness needed to be a slot defender. And the Browns, you don't know what's going to happen with the future of Greg Newsome after next year, because he'll be on his 5th-year option. We'll see if the Browns even bring him back for next year, or if they potentially move on from him. But if you're looking for a dude that's just got that mauler, like I want to hit guys from the defensive backfield kind of mentality, that's Upton Stout. Guys, those are 3 guys that 2 of which especially played at, or I'm sorry, all 3 of them played at smaller schools. They're going to be at the Senior Bowl. That's going to be a big moment for those guys as they try to prove that they can go up against the better competition and do what they did on tape at lesser competition, but do it against the guys that are going to really start at the NFL level. I wrote some of that and more up over at the OBR if you want to check that out. Next week on the OBR, Sam Penix and I are starting our film rooms on the offensive tackles of this class, and I think that's going to be really fun. And we'll try to get a podcast out either next week or the week after that, kind of talking and highlighting about some of those guys. Make sure you subscribe, like this video. Appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you guys again next time. As always, go Browns.